See, if you see here, when you wanted to understand the Selenium, two important things you need to understand. One, the working architecture, and two, you need to understand the coding architecture. If you understand these particular two things, then that will be enough. So if you don't understand these two, you will not understand the Selenium well. So these are called Selenium working architecture and coding architecture. Now let's see the working architecture first, and then we'll go for the coding architecture. See guys, this is very important. If you don't understand, you can ask me. But don't forget, this is really, if you don't understand this one, it's like just like a Spanish movie you're trying to implement in the Selenium. First of all, we will be having the IDE. See, IDE is nothing but our integrated development environment. Either see now, we are for learning Java, we have been used Eclipse. We can use IntelliJ also. We do have multiple IDEs like this. Now, if I'm trying to implement with Python, I'll be having PyCharm and PyDev. And if it is, I'm using for C# or anything, so we have VS Code, Visual Studios. So like this, for every programming language, it will have its own IDE, most popular IDEs. So now for Java, this is where the IDE. Now in this particular IDE, you would be writing your code. So now what you have been written, a WebDriver equal to new Firefox driver or Chrome driver, which is what you have been written over here. Now, first of all, this is language bindings. Now, till 3.141.59, this is the stable version for more than 3 years. 3 to 4 years, this is what the stable version. Now, recently, the latest version is 4.2.2, which it opened in the June 9th, the Selenium version. Now, this particular Selenium, when it is in this particular version 3, now this is a hard upgrade. These are the soft upgrades, right? Till here, Selenium used to support for 7 languages. And here now, it was going to support for 13 languages. Means in 13 languages, you can implement the Selenium code, Selenium tool. Means, see, I'm comfortable with Java, so that I can implement with Java. I'm comfortable with Python. I can implement the Selenium with Python. I'm comfortable with C#. I'm comfortable with the JavaScript. I'm comfortable with Ruby. I'm comfortable with Perl. I'm comfortable with VB. I'm comfortable with JavaScript. These all are different languages, right? Now, on these particular different languages, you can implement Selenium. So these all languages are called as language bindings. See, binding, you know, right? In our good child days, we used to bind the books with a cardboard. Means we are trying to say that we are trying to bind that particular books. Means we are trying to attach that one to the book. The same way, these particular languages can be binded with Selenium. This is called language bindings. Now, in this particular language bindings, I write my code. So now here, if I come to you and then if I'm started to talk in Chinese, will you understand? Obviously not, because you don't, means if you don't know Chinese or I don't know Chinese, if someone is speaking to us in Chinese, we will just see them like that. Now, what we need to do, see, the same thing will happen over here. Now, just imagine that. Now, the complete, we have been using this particular IDE here. And from the IDE, I'm writing my code in Java. And here is my application, web application. Example, now you've taken the Facebook or LinkedIn application, you are automating it. Now, what you are trying to say, open browser. You have written this one, right? Open browser, which is get method, and close. There is difference between get and quit. So either you can use close or quit, but there is a difference between them. I'll explain you when with that. We have written these methods. Now I'm saying that, hey, open the browser, close the browser. Now, how, if I given instructions, how the Chrome browser would be opened, how the Chrome browser would be closed, how the Chrome browser will enter the text into the username and password and then doing the login. There is some lifestyle or there is some mechanism that whatever this guy, whatever in the Java which I'm writing it, this particular language need to be converted into this particular browser level action. So how this particular browser level action would be performed? That is what the challenge for us now. What we need to do now, see, this particular Now we have been written the code here in the Java editor. Now what we are trying to do, first of all, we are importing all the Selenium driver files, WebDriver. So now here we are downloading Selenium WebDriver. You know, right? So yesterday, first of all, we went for the dependencies. In the dependent maven form.xml file, we added the Selenium. All those things would be comes over here. Then I imported here, and with that particular imports, I'll be writing my code. Hey, WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver. I can import WebDriver and then Chrome driver class. I imported. Now these two are in sync. So these are the libraries. With this help of this particular libraries, I have written the code. Still, what I have written, see, driver dot get URL. So this is what you have been passed, right? Facebook, for that one, you have to navigate. This is the statement you have been given. Still, this is in Java. Not the browser will understand only one language. Which language is this? HTTP language. So now how this particular HTTP language will be understand means this guy will understand only Spanish. He will not understand anything else. But I know only English and I know my own mother tongue. Now how do I need to do it? So you went for Spain and you need to talk to the people. Then what you will try to do? Either you will have one common language as English, or you take one guy who can translate that one to them, right? You will take a translator. So that particular translator is nothing but here we will bring back JSON wire protocol. Okay, so this particular JSON wire protocol. So already we have been discussed. What do you meant by JSON wire protocol? Protocol is nothing but it's a set of rules and regulations. Now, for anything, so now for an example, if you wanted to go and meet a CM, a PM, or MLA, or anyone else, there'll be a certain protocol or procedures and process we need to follow. So that is what the protocol meant. Now, JSON, see now, actually, this is JSON means Java's single object notation. JSON. JavaScript object notation. Okay, so JSON means because we need to know about this one. So when we go for our frameworks, definitely we'll be learning on this one. JSON is one of the notation where we can store that particular data. Instead of Excel sheets, we used to store that particular data into the JSON files or JSON format. Okay, so that is what called as JSON. Now we will be sending that this particular data means now whatever this particular command. So now this is the Java command, right? Instruction. Now driver.get, driver.maximize, driver.quit. So 4 statements are there. Now what it will happen if you see here, now it reached to the JSON wire protocol. JSON wire protocol, with the help of WebDriver, it accesses these particular statements. And what it will try to do is, it will convert these particular statements into HTTP request. So now it will convert that, hey, this is what the object, so the object or the method get, and this is what the URL you need to navigate it. Or HTTP request, this is what maximize method, and then convert into this particular browser to the maximize and quit. And it also takes that, hey, this is the XPath of the object, and you perform click method. Like this, it will converts the HTTP means this particular commands into the HTTP request. Now what it was trying to do, it takes the Java commands, convert into the HTTP request. Now once it convert into the HTTP request, now the JSON wire protocol, it will act as 2 things. One, it translates the Java commands into the HTTP request, translates, and even it will be act as a transporter. So from here to there, there to here. Now what it was trying to do is client to server, server to the client. Now server, I'm saying it. So you remember, right? Server and the nodes, we discussed many a times in our architecture. There will be multiple customers. The customers can serve with it, or clients. The server will be helping us to continue on, serve them. Now here, Now it converted, right? Now it converted into the HTTP. Directly, I can go and talk to this particular browser and then perform it. If you see here, less than 3 version means when it is in 2.75, 2.8, or 2.1, 2.3, 4, 5, Selenium in that versions, this particular code directly talks to the browser. Later on, they introduced some people in between this one. So which is that these are the browser drivers. Browser drivers. Now, what are the browsers we have? We have Chrome browser, Firefox driver, Microsoft Edge browser, Safari, Opera. These all browsers are there. Now, for every browser, they will be having these particular driver files. Now, these are exes. Exes is executable files. Now, yesterday we downloaded the Chrome driver exe. Firefox, we will call it as Gecko driver. Microsoft Edge driver, Safari driver, Opera driver. So we take all these particular exe files. Remember that these are exes. Chrome driver exe will be there. Chrome driver Java file would be also there. In coding architecture, we use Chrome driver Java. So this is a separate class file. And drive in the working architecture, we use the exes. People will confuse for this. No, Chrome driver exe is separate. Chrome driver Java class file is separate. Who gives this particular Chrome driver exe and then Java file class files? Who give this one to this respective Selenium? Who creates this Chrome driver exe, Gecko driver exe, or Edge exes? The companies itself, they will give this one. Because nowadays in the market, the Selenium is more popular. Everyone is using this and they wanted to test in the respective browsers. So that is the reason. So these people started to give, will be started to give on these particular things. Just give me 1 second, guys. So these people, these people will be trying to do it. So they will be integrating to this. They will be integrating to these particular. Sorry, it's a distraction for me. Now, Chrome driver. When we have this particular Chrome driver exe and the Chrome driver class file, this will be given by the respective companies itself. So because this tool is very popular, so that's the reason they will be giving it. For Firefox, Mozilla will be giving it. For Edge, Microsoft will be giving it. For Safari, Safari people will give it. For Opera, Opera company will be giving it. So those people will give this particular driver exe and then that particular driver class file. So class file we forgot for now because this is for the coding architecture. Now this is for the working architecture. Now working architecture, I'll be having the browser drivers. Now we know that, hey, in our life cycle, we will be having this particular browser driver.exe. If I click that exe, I can see what is a version of that one and which port number it will be using it. But why I required these drivers? So this is one of the important question. Yesterday you seen it, right? Some of the people implemented that without giving the exe, they try to execute it, it thrown the error. And I think this is implemented by Swapna and then Soumya implemented with this exe. Now, what is the difference between this and this? Without exe, if I have executed it, I got an error. With exe, when I executed, I got it executed. Why? See, it is very simple. I wanted to get a movie signed by Surya. I wanted to get signed from him. So will I go directly and meet him, or first I need to reach his PA, and PA will go and talk to him, and then he will appoint me the appointment. You know what we wanted to, means what he wanted to do. He wanted to restrict a layer. All the people shouldn't come and fall on him. Anything is there to talk with him, so everyone should talk to his PA, and his PA will communicate that information to him. Right? That is how any movie artist or anyone will try to do it. Right? Now, the same way here, always directly talking to the browser. Now, what we need to do, hey, open the browser. Now, this particular code will directly talk to this particular browser internal methods. Internal methods means, hey, open the browser, click on this button, do on this one, make that one, this one. So like this, we will be doing all those particular things, right? So we don't want to do that, because that's a security level information. So, Chrome implementations and Firefox implementation, all Safari implementations, they will be coming inside the browser level, and then they are performing the methods inside on the methods. Then what they said, hey, I do the security level. Don't come and talk to me directly. You talk to my manager, which is the driver functions. So now this for the security level layer, so these particular browser drivers are implemented. Now, whatever the HTTP request, now this is converted, right? The JSON wire protocol, that HTTP request would be given for this particular browser driver. Now, what the browser driver, so these are the EXEs, right? These are the servers. Now, it takes the data from the client. This is the client, and this is the server. Now, into this particular server, JSON wire protocol takes a Java command, converts this one into the HTTP request, and transfer from the client to the server. Now, this is act as a HTTP server. Once we got that particular information, this server consumes that particular request, and then it will say, hey, go and act this, open the browser. What it will do, it will open. See, this is dummy. Whatever this driver says, means for the driver, what the instructions will be coming from our code. We given this code, JSON wire protocol converts that particular command into this particular the browser driver with the help of the browser. JSON wire protocol will convert that, and it will have that HTTP request. That particular command will send it to the browser driver. From the browser driver, it send it back to the browser, and the browser will perform that action. Hey, open the browser, navigate button, navigate to this. So these all informations will be given here. Now what it will do, it performs that action, comes back to this, say that boss, done. Now once again, we'll say, hey boss, I'm done. And then once again, it will come back to our console and prints that log saying that, hey, this is done. Within fraction of milliseconds, all these things will be happening. This is the internal working architecture of the Selenium. So when you see usually the questions would be asked like, hey, when I have written the code like in the IDE, how that would be understandable by the browser? Or what is the working architecture of Selenium? Or what is the internal structure of Selenium? Now then you need to ask them, hey, are you asking from the coding point of view or working point of view? Now tell me from the working point of view, then you see to say that, hey, in Java editor, IDE, it's a language binding. So now it have 7 languages to support. You take any particular IDE, I take any particular language, I write all my commands and instructions. With the help of integrating to the Selenium all these particular code would be implemented. Now, via this particular WebDriver server, so with it will go to the JSON wire protocol. It takes each and every command, and then that particular command would be converted into the HTTP request. So normal Java command would be converted into the HTTP request or anything, even in the Python command or to the JSON wire protocol. The basic purpose of JSON wire protocol is using the WebDriver, it consumes that particular command and then convert that one into the HTTP RESTful request is what the JSON wire protocol will do it. So it converts and translate that, transfer that particular command from the server to the client to the server, so which are the browser drivers. So browser drivers are nothing but it would be provided by the respective companies. So every browser will have this particular browser drivers implementation for the security purposes. So as you don't wanted to directly interact with the browser and its commands or internal commands, so they introduce this particular layer. All these particular commands will comes into the browser driver, and the browser driver will consume that particular commands, and it will take it and then it will push it to the respective browser, and it performs that particular activity on the browser, and then after completion of that one, it returns back to the driver, and then once again it comes to the JSON wire protocol via to the IDE. So this is the true and fro journey of this particular Selenium code. Now you return the code, right? The 5 lines of code you have written system.get properties and WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver, and then navigate to the get URL, and then maximize the browser, close the browser. You written the 5 lines of code. How these particular 5 lines of code executed from the browser, this is what internally it was happening. Now you understood? So how that particular lines of code is performing and how it was executing it. See, till means now if writing, see now previously what you learned Java, and then what you learn how we need to use this particular interfaces and then all these things, and then now you're learning Selenium tool. So before learning any particular tool, understand the architecture of that particular tool, how that particular tool will work on, so that you can clearly understand and then do the implementations. Now, okay, so before going for any other things, are we clear with this architecture?
Sir,
Tell me.
where JSON protocol would be present at our system or online, sir?
See, now when you have been downloaded this particular jar files, inside that particular jar files itself, all the things would be there. Okay, it will not connect to the anything internet. So now, what are the jar files you will have it? You know, when you downloaded this particular thing, all jar files will be there on your Maven dependency, right? Inside that particular dependencies, you would be having those all things. Okay, that would be inside your system itself, that not will be
Yes,
in
sir.
the online. Any questions?
Sir, in the regard of a Selenium IDE, everyone is saying that it only plays and records and plays the our script, sir. Is it only for watching our how the script is working or something else, sir?
See, as it is very clearly said that it is only for record and play, means now you have written the code, right? Now the same thing we can record also. The code would be automatically generated for you.
Yes,
But you want, if you wanted to make the changes of the code level, you can't do it with that particular record and play. See, for today, for an example, now this is about Selenium. Tomorrow, if it changed to about Selenium concept, what you need to do, once again you need to re-record it, because that recording will not work, right? Because there is a change in the application. So for every change, you need to re-record it. That's a waste of time. Maintenance of the script is much more, and exception handling. So for an example, if I say 10 seconds delay, it will fail, because when you're recording, it would be recorded as it is. It will not change. If it is something change, it will be coming back to us. So exception handlings, and then the functionality changes, it always it will gives you lot of problem. So that's the way, so we will not try to do that. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Are we clear? Okay, so now I think you have been gone through all these things, right? So now what are the operating systems it supports? What are the browsers it will supports? So all these informations you have been gone through, right? Now all these people will give their own drivers. The drivers, 11 o'clock. All the browsers and the things would be, 1 second. So the browsers, they have been given for us, right? Now, same, they will be giving the exes, and same, they will be giving the class files. Everything would be given by this particular set of people. Okay. So if you wanted to download that particular driver exes directly, you can go and then type that, hey, wanted to download Chrome driver. See, we need to go for the Chromium websites. You know, this is from the Google. And if you wanted to download the Jaco driver, this is for Firefox. That would be in the Mozilla. See, whatever the drivers you wanted to download, you need to go and then you need to download on this. And the latest version is 0.31. only Chrome has been matched the version number with the browser number. They will have different version numbers, and all these things would be also different. Okay. Now, this is what we need to understand that about the working architecture of Selenium. Now, coding architecture. The coding architecture, it would be, it is very simple in the coding architecture. As I told you, complete Selenium was designed and created based upon interfaces. If you understand the interfaces concept, understanding this one would be a minute time. You can see here, this particular thing you can easily understand. And this is very old PPT. Now, this might be changed. Just try to share you the things. I'll share you this particular PPT. I told you, right? Now, this is what our IDE. From the IDE, it will go to the Selenium WebDriver. And from there, it will go to the JSON wire protocol. So from JSON wire protocol, it will go to the browser drivers. From the browser drivers, it will go to the browser. And in the browser, we will be having the AUT. AUT means?
Application under
test. Application under test.
Under test.
So now that is what it will work. Now, if you see here, if you learn Selenium, see, mobile testing is also the same. Automating the mobile phones. However, this is not as of now. So now it is Appium, Selenium, and then Appium. Appium is for mobiles. Selenium is for Appium will automate mobile phones. Selenium will automate web. That's it. Okay. Now, anyways, I'll not go to the Appium. So now let's see the Selenium coding architecture. It is very simple. Now, and this is, by the way, once again, I'm saying this is the architecture of 3.141.59. I didn't prepare for 4.22. So 4.2.2 that I didn't prepare it. But if for your reference, you can go and then you can try to prepare and then you can contribute to this. Overall, we have these blue colors are there, right? These are the interfaces. So there is a super interface, which is called search context. And search context was extended by WebDriver and Web Element. And the screenshots. So now these are all blue colors are the interfaces. So interfaces will have unimplemented methods. Now overall, these all interfaces are there. Now for each interface, you can see what are the methods. Search context have find element and find elements. JavaScript executor have asynchronous script and synchronous script. Take screenshot will have get screenshot. WebDriver, get close, get current URL, get page source, get title, get window header, get man.
Sorry to disturb you. When I are waiting
Till 11 o'clock, the session is there. 11 o'clock, you can allow them, but till 11 o'clock you can take it.
Okay.
Now we have close, get URL, page source, title, get window handles, manage, quit, switch to. All these are the methods of WebDriver and Web Element. Clear, click, attribute, get CSS, get size. Now these are the methods which are available for the Web Element, and these are the interfaces. So these are the interfaces which we have it. Now you can see here the same things. These are all interfaces. Can I implement multiple interfaces in a class? Can I implement multiple interfaces in a class?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Simple. Now,
Yes.
remote WebDriver implements this.
Implements multiple.
You know, WebDriver implements, extends this search context. So now all these methods belong to the WebDriver. Can I interface extends another interface?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So now can a class can implement multiple interfaces?
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Yes.
So now all these particular interfaces have 48 methods, and all 48 methods are implemented in the remote WebDriver class. And this remote WebDriver class was extended by Chrome driver. Now, whatever the 48 methods are there here, now when the class is implementing them, so this code, all these 48 methods would be implemented in a remote WebDriver, right? Now, remote WebDriver was extended by the Chrome driver, so that the Chrome driver, as it is extending all these 48 methods plus the 7 methods Chrome driver have it. I think now the methods have been changed, increased more. These are old methods. I think at that time it is 38, then it increased to 48 and all. Okay, any number of X number of methods are there. Now, this particular numbers of methods plus this particular Chrome driver methods. So when I created the object for these are the class files. You can see that Chrome driver, Edge driver, Firefox driver. So these are the class files. Now this as this is a class, now as it is extending, all these methods, implemented methods will be there in the Chrome driver, right? Plus the extra methods in the Chrome driver. Do you remember at that time why I told you the upcasting? So you remember, right? Now WebDriver is an interface. WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver.
Chrome driver.
Now this is a constructor. Now if at all the WebDriver is having 38 methods, now what is the capacity of this particular object? How many methods it can have it? How many methods? See now Chrome driver have
Only 38.
30 means 38, and a Chrome driver it have another 7 methods, means overall 44 methods are there. Now when I created this particular object, WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver, this driver object means how many methods this particular driver object
38.
can access.
38 only.
Only 38 methods can it
Because
can
only
access.
parent.
Is the
If at all
parent.
I have created Chrome driver equal to new Chrome driver.
Then
Now
All 44.
that's it. Now the methods and implementations of this one. So now here I'll be implementing with the Chrome driver. Then I'll implementing with the Firefox driver. Here I'll be implementing Safari driver. Here Opera driver. I'll change this one. So what is this concept called as? On runtime, whenever I change the code, it will open me
Upcasting.
Firefox.
Upcasting.
Upcast.
Runtime polymorphism.
This is called runtime
Runtime
polymorphism. Upcasting is nothing but, so now I'm allocating this memory to this particular object. So then this is called upcasting. See, at runtime polymorphism, I can change whatever this particular constructor which I wanted to call it back. So this is called runtime polymorphism. You tell me, is it hard now to learn this? Exactly within 2 minutes, we completed this. Complete coding architecture, you understood. If you don't understand the interfaces, if you don't understand the concept of upcasting, if you don't understand the runtime polymorphism or inheritance, and then polymorphism, overloading, overriding methods, can you understand this one?
No.
That's a reason. So first we have been learned that, and that's it. That's what the coding architecture. And then this one, you can directly go here. Now you can go and search. Now, if you go here in the browser, you can see that Selenium, Java, docs. If you type here, it will come the first one, Selenium Java docs. You can see this complete Java docs over here. Now, if you see here, same, these are inclined, this is our interfaces, these all methods, and you can go inside this one and you can go for this respective classes, and you can just click on this action class. And here I'll go for WebDriver. Where is WebDriver? It's alphabetical order. So that's the reason I'm just going for W. See, WebDriver. If you come to this particular WebDriver has an interface, right? What is the super interface for the WebDriver? Search context. And what are the implementing classes of this particular WebDriver? These are the classes which it was implementing it. You see it? Chrome driver, Chromium driver, Edge driver, Firefox. All these things are there. Now, what all the methods are there here? Now, this is the latest one. So now you can see the different methods. Now you can see that close, find and find element is coming from search context. It's a super interface, right? Now from the super interface, it extended. So that's the reason you are getting the find and find elements. And from others, you are getting the get sources and all. And guys, I think it's already 11:02. I'm sorry, we need to stop on this one. Guys, once again, I'm saying it.